ladies, it is Tristan with Nerdette's NewsStand, and I want to talk about episode 5 when it comes to the Watchmen series that is going on at HBO right now. But I meant to get to this yesterday. It was just kind of a crazy day. So if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. As always, if you enjoy the video, don't forget to hit that like button. If you want to help support the channel, links are in the description. But I want to say something before I even get into the episode, because I'm going to go through it like I do always in detail. And I will put a link to the playlist of all the episodes that I've reviewed so far. But I see a lot of people saying their issues that they're having with Watchmen, and that's completely fine. Everyone is absolutely entitled to their view. I think the big difference with this is Watchmen always was political, obviously. If you were to say otherwise, I would guess you hadn't read it. Watchmen was always liberal. Watchmen always was kind of its own Rorschach test. So if you notice when people come out saying they're a big fan of Rorschach or they're a big fan of the comedian, which, why? I guess is my main question. Usually they have a conservative bias. If you have people come out saying they loved Ozzy, which I do love Ozzy, don't get me wrong, but I love him because he's psycho. Or something along that line. They usually have a liberal bias. So, like I said, it's its own Rorschach test. It tells you a little bit about the person that's reading it by who they favor. I personally, I've said from the beginning, Rorschach always was my favorite character, along with Ozzy, because I love a little bit of crazy. But the difference, I think, was that Alan Moore could write, and Alan Moore is a known liberal. He could write liberals, he could write conservative characters, he could write them all and still have them be good characters. The main problem is Damon Lindelof can write good liberal characters. He can write, basically, that's it. He can't write people of color. He can't write conservative characters. And I think that's where the main downfall with this is that it's the writer's fault, not the original source material. Now, don't get me wrong, I do like this. There is a great story in this. In the first episode that I bitched a lot about that first episode was fixed. So, bear with me. This might get a little long-winded because this was a really good episode. So it opens up in Hoboken, in New Jersey in 1985. It is a flashback. And when I first seen the person, before they said his name, I was like, is this a little Petey? It looks just like a little Petey, but it is Wade, who is the Looking Glass. He's a Jehovah's Witness. He's at a carnival to educate people of the world to the world of Christ. And it's 1 minute before that doomsday clock is about to happen. They are on the brink of a nuclear war. And he decides to go and talk to some top knots. But I love the little things in here. We see the black freighter with the Vite method on the back, little things from the comics. I said I love these before. We see the top knot thugs, and with Wade trying to educate them. Behind them we see the Pale Horse band with, I can't say the K name that they were with, what happened in Madison Square Garden before in the comic book. But I won't dwell too much on that. So the top knot thugs are they don't want to be educated onto they don't want to hear about God. And this girl kind of takes his hand, and she totally looks like the girl from Saved by the Bell. But I digress. She takes him into this carnival mirror thumb house, or fun house. Did I say thumb house? What is wrong with me? So she does that whole you don't want to die a virgin thing, and gets him naked, takes off his clothes. She's about to go down on him, and he she runs off with his clothes and leaves him there nude, and he's like yelling in the mirror that he's a sinner. Like, he's really mad at himself. Like, how could you do this? How could you fall for this? You, like, despicable person. Well, the shaking happens. Chaos begins. And it sounds like a bomb's going off, right? Well, he walks out, and everybody's dead for the most part. There's a couple people that are alive, but the girl that just took his clothes, she's dead. All of the top nuts, everybody that was there is wiped out. He's screaming, what happened? What happened? What happened? And it pans out, and we get to see our first look at the squid attack that happened on November 2nd. So it's a really good shot, and they did a really good job of recreating this. I seen this, and I was like, damn, like, why didn't Zack Snyder think that this would work? But again, I digress. So we go back to present time, and we come back to this, like, New York commercial. They're trying to get people 30 years later to come back and live in New York. And it is Wade. It's Looking Glass again, obviously. This whole episode's going to be about him. His cover job is to sit behind a mirror and look at these people watching, test audiences to see if they're lying or not. And in this case, they definitely are. He can tell, that they're lying, and he's a good asset to this type of job. Well, he goes back to the cop shop, and Lori's holding this meeting with all the cops on how to kind of move forward when it comes to the 7th Cavalry. She wants them to find the church that's in this, and which we'll come later find out is a whole sham. But he goes back to the office, back to his cop office or whatever. And Angela, who's Sister Knight, asks about the pills that she gave him in the previous episode to have his X test at his lab. So he doesn't have it done yet, but Lori calls Wade into her office, and she's been working out of Judd's office, kind of as the acting chief of police. I said that backwards. And ask what the pills she was speaking of. Like, she asked him a bunch of stuff, but she bugged his cactus. He says basically it's a personal issue between me and Angela. I love Lori, and I said that in the last review I did. She's very like bitchy sarcastic. I can relate, honey, but she keeps calling him Mirror Guy instead of Looking Glass. I love everything about her character. So basically he goes home. We see kind of the first glimpse at his house. He wears this hat that has reflectitine in it, and this reflectitine substance is basically it's a sham, but it kind of goes back in foil hack and people that they would make fun of. It's a substance that lines it, and it basically protects from psychic blasts. Like, so if Squid were to drop on Manhattan again, he would be protected by this, magical silver lining that he puts in his hat. Not only that, but that's actually what his mask is made of, and that's why he chose it, because we're going to come to find out that he has just so much issues since 11/2. But he sits down to watch the show, and I'm going to talk about the show a little bit. But he's eating beans, like, straight up. This is our Rorschach. I don't know if maybe that's why I like him, but all the little things they add in, I love it. But so he's watching the American Hero show. And I said before I thought maybe this would be our Black Freighter. Man, I take that back. Okay, this is the only part of the episode that was really weird. So this is a show that's on TV. In this universe, they have like a million warnings. So it's like they have the Disney Plus of warnings. It's like, there is bad things gonna happen, and if you're sensitive, you don't have to watch this. It's all those, like trigger warnings. So HJ, who is known as Gay Man, along with Captain Metropolis, are butt fucking, and this is on primetime TV. Like, it's so weird to me, because at first I was like, wait, gay porn? Because it looked like a really bad, like, porn ripoff, but no. It's the actual TV show. He does look a little disgusted, I'm not gonna lie, but that's the only part in this episode I was like, what What? Like, but don't get me wrong, in the original comics, there was a lot of sex, so it's me. I'm weird. Anyways, let's move on. I don't want to talk about butt fucking too much. So, his EDS alarm sounds. He goes into his bomb shelter. It won't be quiet. He gets all pissed, and he basically, like, throws the thing and kicks it, and yeah. But the whole point of this scene is we find out that he's done way too many drills. Like, you're only supposed to do a drill every 6 months, and he's done, like, 500. So we come to find out he's got some serious mental issues. So he's at work at the actual cover job, and his ex pages him to come get the pills. She's done with Angela's pills. And we find out the place is called Forever Pet. And so you don't ever have to say goodbye to your animal that you love, because if they die, you just get it cloned. Now, I said in the episode, I think it would have been the last one, with Lady True, I thought that her daughter was actually a clone. Now, if you look behind the desk here, you see that these two people are, I mean, they could be twins, but it's more likely with the office that they're in that they're clones. So I have a feeling some of this is going to come back to this. I just don't know what. Like, I can't pinpoint it. But anyways, he has to check to see if his ex asks, her name's Cynthia, if the dogs look the same, and he looks and he's like, one's a little smaller. She puts him in this the dog in this garbage disposal looking thing, hits the button, and just incinerates the dog. Like, what? Why couldn't, you literally just made that puppy a hot dog. Why couldn't you just, I don't know. So she goes on to explain about the pills, and it was nostalgia. Now, obviously, that is a reference. That was a perfume in the comics. But nostalgia, if you look at the Peteypedia files, which I've talked about before, is a medication that each pill contains 1 to 5 memories, but they were discontinued in 2007 because they were known to cause psychosis. So they're his old memories, basically, right? Like, she literally has a bottle of Will's memories. And it does say in this, now this could be totally me theorizing or whatever, but it does say in this Peteypedia file that don't take them while you're pregnant, because those memories could then pass on to the fetus, which I think also explains a little bit more. If Lady True's daughter is not a clone, had she been accidentally taking them when she was pregnant, and that would explain the whole Vietnam flashback and stuff. So, I mean, that's just me theorizing, but even so, he leaves. The lady says, don't take these. Do not tell your lady friend not to take these. They were outlawed. Don't. So he goes to this AA type meeting, and it's basically for the people that went through 11-2 and have anxiety. I mean, maybe they didn't even necessarily go through it, but they have anxiety against these attacks. So this woman named Renee, and they kind of do that whole flirty eye across the room thing. Like, you can tell they're feeling each other, right? So Wade then begins, to close the meeting out, and he acts fearless. They go out to the car. She kind of calls him on it, like, I know you're really scared. And then she's like, follow me. I'm sorry, he's a single dude. That was good advice. Follow her. But they go to this bar, and they're so cute. Like, their back and forth is really cute. They're flirty, they're adorable. I love every bit of it. She starts telling her story about why she has anxiety with 11-2. And in this universe, Steven Spielberg did not make Schindler's List. He made a movie called Pale Horse. So it's kind of in the same format, and that's what she's talking about. Again, Pale Horse was the band that was playing on 11-2. in Madison Square Garden. That's the whole reason for all this. A lot of the top knots attended it. I cannot say the other band names that was more related to the top knots. It starts with a K, that's all I know. But they're both drunk. And she's like, I'm gonna call a friend to pick me up. Well, why don't you do the same? And I feel so bad for the dude. He's like, I don't have any friends. And I'm like, oh, honey, I totally know the feeling. Like, oh God, I felt bad. But they go outside and we find out that in this universe that tobacco of all things is outlawed, but they can drink a beer. So like, I'd be halfway good with my daily shit, but not all the way. So anyways, she gets in the ride and it's a truck, obviously. So lettuce falls off. And if you remember in the first episode, when the cop is killed initially, he throws a head of lettuce. There's lettuce in the back. So they haven't caught that person yet. So he's like, oh shit. Like, I really know how to pick him, right? Like, he's going to chase him. And that's exactly what he does. Well, we go to this warehouse and he investigates in the truck, and in the back he finds some sort of Lady True merchandise. So the 7th Cavalry definitely has some ties to Lady True. It's all getting tied in a little bit together now. He does get a gun out of the front and he goes inside. And this is why I said in the beginning, when Lori wanted to find that church, it's a studio. It was all planned. Like, there's lighting, it's all professionally done. But when he's looking at this church, a basketball kind of materializes behind him, and there's blue electricity around it, right? So he hides, and this guy walks out with a Rorschach mask on, and he grabs a basketball, he goes in. So he starts to follow this guy in the Rorschach mask, and he finds out that they are throwing these basketballs through it's called a CX-924 teleportation window. Basically, it's the same thing they were doing on 9-2 to open a portal, and that's when their explanation of how the squids drop was because of the testing with this window, right? So he pulls his gun. Blondie, Renee tries to explain to him just exactly what's going on. And obviously he's all upset. He starts like shooting this guy and he finds out it's blank. They find out that every single thing, including Renee, was set up. This poor guy gets screwed by women every single chance he gets. So her going to the meeting, the lettuce falling off the truck, the walkie-talkie, everything was set up by them. And they want to show him the truth. So they take him in this room, all full of TVs. Again, back to the comics. I love that Damon at least did his homework. And you see this guy, this 7K guy walk in, right? Well, we realize that it's Senator Keene. And I called it. I thought there was something fishy about that guy. But he explains that Wade Looking Glass came in after White Knight. So did Keene. He came into the 7th Cavalry to prevent deaths, again, as kind of the figurehead of the 7th Cavalry. He also confirms that Judd did the same exact thing, and they're going to do something new. Something new with this teleportation window, but we don't exactly get to see what. So he talks about this recording he has. He's going to show him this recording of Ozzy that's basically going to set him free. All of his fear is gone. But in return for his, as he calls it, his squid pro crow, he has to ask him to uncover Angela's lies. Because he said, we know that Angela either killed Crawford or she knows who did. So you either uncover it and, get her turned in, get the truth revealed, or we can go to her house and murder her whole. That's not a fucking, I think I would try to uncover it. Like, yeah, she's going to end up dead if you don't, honey. But, the video is from Adrian, from Ozzy to Robert Redford. And he's saying, if my instructions were followed, it would be January 1993, right after your inauguration. And I have, as an Ozzy, have recorded this on November 1st, 1985, 24 hours before the squids. So it was 7 years prior he's recording this. He's saying, I planned your presidency. I didn't predict it, I planned it. But he does tell him of his plans for the squids on 11/2. And he's saying, you know, with these squids, I'm using a weapon far more powerful than any nuclear bomb. I am using fear. And basically, he admits the whole hoax outright to him. And the only people that are allowed to see this are then, you know, people that work for the government that have to know this. It's on a need-to-know basis, right? So then we actually get to Ozzy now, I think. I'm not sure. Obviously, there's a time lapse here, but he's suited up. He's got his catapults. He is on his way out of the bubble, and we do see him go out. And I went back and forth quite a few times with this, but he's on, I said, you know, originally I thought he was on Mars. That's what I thought at first. Well, we come to find out that he is on a moon of Jupiter. And all those bodies that I thought he was totally like testing stuff with, which he was in a way, but he uses them to spell out help me, and then there's a D and it cuts it off. But he puts it right in time. He keeps checking his watch. He puts it right in time for the satellite to see it. Now, whose satellite this is, I don't know. Whoever it is, like, it could be Help Me, Dr. Manhattan. I don't know. That's the only thing I can really think of. But then he's pulled back in by the game master, who's not happy with him before. And we find out that it is another clone. So it's the clone with all the power, I guess. And I do think, and I've said this since day one, I think Manhattan is his capture, or his game master, so to speak, because he says, Ozzy gets mad and he said, your God abandoned you. And the game warden says, he looks back at him and he says, our God has left, unlikely he'll return. But he's still not going to give him any mercy. So we've seen a lot of times in the comics and even in the show, in Doomsday Clock, and all of those, you know, his Dr. Manhattan's powers are often referred to as godlike or something like that. So I really do think at this point that Ozzy's trying to get Manhattan's attention again and trying to get him to come back for him. Like, I think he thought this was utopia at first, and now he's like, I just want life. I just want normalcy. Like, I totally get it, buddy. Anyways, we go back to Earth, and it's Wade. He's got this, like, perfume. It's called Mercy, whatever. He goes back to the cop shop. And Angela asks about the pills. Now, Wade has them. And Wade calls her over, sets the pills on his desk. And mind you, I said before, this cactus was bugged. So he sets it right next to the cactus. He says, the pills are nostalgia. And knowing the cactus is bugged, he says, I want to help. And Angela admits everything. Like, she admits to covering it up. She admits to Will saying he killed Judd, but she doesn't understand how he killed Judd. Everything. He just looks at her and he says, I'm sorry. And then Lori breaks down that door and says, hands up. You know, like, she's caught. But I'll get into that in a minute. Lori demands her to be cuffed, and she is. She grabs the bottle of nostalgia and takes them all. Like, I'm pretty sure she took them all. I don't know how she did, because, like, I can't take medication like that without something to drink, so she's got talent. But anyways, she ingests them all, knowing she's going to have his psychosis-induced memories here happening pretty soon. And if you look at the preview for next episode, that is what it's all about. But here's my thing with Wade there. He had to. Like, he didn't have a choice. If he had not done that, her kids, her family, Cal, everybody would end up dead. So I really can't blame him here. Like, yeah, I think had she known the truth, had she known it was either family, she would have agreed with what Wade did. So Wade does go home. This is the last scene. We see 4 guys from the 7th Cavalry walk in are starting to walk towards his back door with guns. And that's it. Like, we don't know what happens to Wade or not. I cannot hardly believe they would kill him off. He's too good of a character for them to actually kill off. I do feel like maybe he's going to make it up to Angela, and he's going to be our Rorschach. Like, at the end of the graphic novel, we see Rorschach die for his principles, for his values. He dies with integrity. I feel like Wade's not going to die here, but he is going to die. I could be totally wrong. The only thing that wasn't the only thing. The dog and then the men. Other than that, they kept playing The Careless Whisper by, I think it's George Michael. Like, throughout the whole episode, I don't quite understand that. I really don't. Like, it was like played 3 or 4 times, but different versions of it. So I don't know if I missed something there or what, but I was impressed. This was a great episode. I really enjoyed myself, and holy crap, this is probably going to be my longest video ever. But make sure you guys like, subscribe, check the links in the description. Oh yeah, I better shut. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. And I want to give a huge shout out to my Subscribe Star and Patreons. You guys literally make this channel possible. Thank you so much to Sanjuro, Way Else One, BG Torrance, Black Knight Fool, Brucey, Grandsmear, Jeffrey Allen Carnes, Jeremy Burtz, Mike Buckner, Robert, and Timothy French. You guys are freaking amazing. Thank you so much, and make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.